All right, today we're doing something a little different. We're going to navigate a simulation of a decade-long legal battle. We're putting you in the driver's seat. You'll get to see the documents, you'll get to see the variables, and you can decide for yourself how a child support case could spiral into, well, this. Okay, let's jump right in.
So let me ask you something. Imagine you get a bill in the mail for a debt you are absolutely positive you don't owe. In fact, you're sure you've already overpaid by a lot. What do you do? Who do you call? For one man, this wasn't just a hypothetical question. It was the start of a 10-year fight with the very system that's supposed to get these things right.
And we're not talking about a small amount here. The number at the heart of this whole thing is just staggering. The petitioner, a man named Gerald Hirschfeld, claims he overpaid by more than $116,000. But for years, the state kept coming after him, treating him like a deadbeat who owed them money.
So you have to be asking, how does a case get this messed up? Well, it all starts in what the petitioner calls a jurisdictional black hole. It's this bizarre legal twilight zone where two different states were both trying to run the show at the same time, and it just created absolute chaos.
Now, you'd think there'd be a rule for this, right? Well, there is. It's a federal law called the Uniform Interstate Family Support Act, or UFSA. And the rule is super simple. Only one state, just one, can be in charge of a case at any given time. It's specifically designed to stop parents from getting caught in a brutal legal tug-of-war between states.
Yeah, that's not what happened here. Just look at this. These are from official communications. It's a total contradiction. You've got South Dakota saying, we're in charge. And then you've got Colorado saying, nope, we have jurisdiction. I mean, if both states are claiming to be the boss, who are you even supposed to listen to?
And the petitioner says this wasn't just some mix-up or a clerical error. He alleges it was a deliberate move to get around federal law. He points to what he calls a handshake agreement between officials to just share enforcement. This kind of backroom deal, he argues, is what led to years of him being chased by two states at the same time.
Okay, now let's get into the money. This is the financial core of our simulation, and it's where that huge overpayment claim really starts to make sense. We're going to break down the numbers, and you'll actually be able to see how a couple of alleged errors could create such a massive, massive difference.
It all kicks off with what seems like a simple but absolutely critical mistake. Think of it like this. Colorado has two main formulas for calculating child support. There's Worksheet A, for when one parent has the kids almost all the time, and then there's Worksheet B, for when custody is shared more equally. The petitioner says the state used the wrong one, Worksheet A, from the very beginning, which completely inflated the amount he was supposed to pay.
But it didn't stop with just the wrong worksheet. The petitioner also claims that some pretty important financial info was never disclosed, specifically adoption subsidies. And this is a huge deal because Colorado law actually has a specific rule that caps child support in those situations. So it's like they were using the wrong formula and they were ignoring a key variable that would have lowered the amount anyway.
Okay, so check out what happens when we correct for those alleged errors in our simulation. This chart shows the insane impact. On the left, you see the state's calculation showing he owed over $14,000. But now watch this. When we switch to the correct worksheet and we apply that legal cap, bam, the debt doesn't just go away. It flips completely into a massive overpayment.
You know, this was never just a fight about numbers on a spreadsheet. The state's constant enforcement, all based on these allegedly bogus numbers, had absolutely devastating consequences in the real world. The petitioner argues the system didn't just get it wrong. It trapped him in a vicious cycle of poverty that was impossible to escape.
I mean, just look at this timeline from 2023. It shows how quickly things can fall apart. In May, the petitioner tells the county he's out of a job and about to be evicted. Their response? Basically, tough luck, see you in court. Just 2 months later, while he's officially documented as being homeless, the state suspends his driver's license, making it almost impossible for him to even look for work.
You can just feel the sheer frustration boiling over in this quote from one of his court filings. He's at a point where he's saying, look, this is either complete and total incompetence, or you are actively trying to ignore the actual facts of this case. There's no in between.
And the crazy thing is, all this is going down in Colorado, a state whose own legal rulebook is built on a core principle of full and honest disclosure in financial matters. The petitioner's argument is that the failure to disclose those subsidies right at the start wasn't just an oversight, it was a deep violation of the state's own code of conduct.
So, After years of fighting about the jurisdiction and fighting about the math, the petitioner uncovers something. Something so basic, so fundamental, that it threatens to bring the whole house of cards down. He now claims there was never even a valid court order to enforce in the first place.
And this is the alleged smoking gun. It's a court record from the very first hearing, way back in 2015. And it says, right there in all caps, that the court was unable to enter support orders. This isn't buried in a footnote, it's the official record of what happened, or rather what didn't happen that day.
He argues that this one document is dispositive, which is a legal way of saying it's game over. It's like finding out that a contract you've been fighting over for a decade was never actually signed by anyone. If the court's own record says no order could be entered, then every single thing that happened for the next 10 years was built on nothing.
And this email from the petitioner just perfectly captures the mind-bending, absurd reality of his situation. He'd spent years trying to fix what he thought was a broken order, only to discover he might have been fighting a ghost the whole time. How do you even ask the system to cancel an order that its own files say never existed? So, where does all this lead? Well, after a decade of this fight, the petitioner isn't just trying to stop the collections anymore. He's not just trying to clear his name. He is demanding a full-blown reckoning. And he's asking the court for 3 very specific things. Number 1, officially declare that the entire enforcement effort was based on a void order from day 1. Number 2, order the state to pay back every single cent they collected from him. And number 3, make it an official finding that the way these agencies behaved violated his constitutional rights.
And really, that's the one question that hangs over this entire story. When a complex system like this one, fails a single person so badly for so long, who is ultimately responsible for making it right? It's a question that goes way beyond this one case, because it cuts right to the heart of what we should all expect, and frankly, what we should all demand, from the courts and the government agencies that are supposed to serve us.